Hello, everyone, and welcome to Module 4 of the e-learning session ISO 9001 2015 and Lead Auditor. In Module 4, we are going to understand the audit findings, reporting, and necessary. Our first round of discussion will be on the audit review meetings. What is an audit review meeting? A meeting audit is the pulse check you do on all meetings within your calendar that you take part in on a consistent basis. When you do the audit, you will establish if the meeting is being held at the right cadence and that the time spent within the meeting feels productive and effective. The auditor gathers background information about the audit topic, determines the audit objectives and methodologies, and develops an audit program. The audit program indicates what procedures the auditor must follow in identifying the area or activity to examine, questions to ask, and the documents they need to review. During the entrance meeting, the auditor meets with representatives of the audited area, or we say the auditee, to discuss the audit objectives and scope, estimated time and resources needed, and communication of audit results. The evaluation phase of the audit is referred to as the field work. To assess the adequacy of internal controls and compliance, the auditor interviews key personnel, reviews departmental or project records and processes, and tests a sample of transactions in details. Throughout fieldwork, the auditor discusses initial audit observations and outstanding document requests with the auditee during the status meetings. It also allows the auditee to clarify or provide additional documentation to resolve any concerns or clear any preliminary observation. After the fieldwork, the auditor writes a draft audit report noting observations identified and corresponding recommendations. This draft report is forwarded to the auditee for discussion during the exit meeting. During the exit meeting, the auditee has the opportunity to propose changes, and any agreed upon changes are incorporated in the draft report. The auditor also requests that the auditee provides written responses to the recommendations. The auditor issues the final audit report to the auditee and campus management. Also, a copy of the final report is posted on the audit website. Generally, the auditor conducts a follow-up with the auditee to ensure the effective implementation of recommendations and corrective action plans, and that expected results are actually achieved. The audit process ideally consists of the following four phases: planning, fieldwork, reporting, and follow-up. Now, what is planning? During the planning phase, contact with audit clients is initiated and relevant background information is gathered to gain an understanding of the audited area's size, responsibilities, and procedures in place. Notification letter. With few exceptions, audit clients are notified in writing when their area is selected or scheduled for an audit. However, due to the nature of some audit work, little or no advance notice may be given. Entrance meeting. Depending on the type of audit and the amount and the quantum of the audit work planned, an entrance meeting may be scheduled with the head of the unit and any administrative staff that may be involved in the audit. In-person meetings are preferred, but this may be accomplished via telephone or other ways also if necessary. Field work. The evaluation phase of the audit is referred to as field work. This I have already discussed earlier. This phase includes assessing the adequacy of internal controls and compliance, testing of transactions, records, and resources, and performing other procedures necessary to accomplish the objectives of the audit. Audit meeting. Audit meeting depends on organization to organization. Rather, it varies from organization to organization. Ideally, this could be a meeting or audit process between the auditor and the auditee or the audit team, where the actual audit is done, which is a fact-finding exercise and surely not a fault-finding exercise. Reporting. The final result of every audit is a written report that details the audit scope and objectives, results, recommendations for improvement, and the audit client's responses and corrective actions as planned. Draft report. Audit reports are typically prepared in draft form initially, and distribution is initially limited to the immediate manager of the area, so it can be reviewed prior to further distribution of the audit report. Now, report. Reporting includes those responses that will be included when the final audit report is shared with the appropriate level of the organization. Priority level issues and recommendations are reported and tracked eventually until implemented. Exit meeting. An exit meeting will be held to provide details of the audit findings and an opportunity to resolve any questions or concerns the audit client may have about the audit results and to resolve any other issues before the final audit report is released. Final audit report. The final audit report is addressed to the project or department or business unit head audited, and copies are provided to appropriate levels of the organization. And finally, follow-up. There will be occasions when corrective actions to resolve an audit issue will not be accomplished until after the audit report has been finalized. In those cases, follow-up will be performed on the previously reported recommendations to determine whether corrective action plans have been effectively implemented as expected and as agreed between the auditor and the auditee, and that expected results are being achieved. Finding statements. An audit finding is a statement that describes what was found during an audit. An audit finding is not necessarily bad or good. Audit findings ideally should include non-conformance, opportunities for improvement, which we are going to discuss later, and the strength. What is a non-conformance or non-conformity? Non-conformity or non-conformance is when there is no clear violation of a rule or a requirement. Non-conformance could also be classified as major non-conformance or minor non-conformance. ISO as a standard basically talks about whatever you do, you write, and whatever you write, you do. And if you don't do that, if your process is not in conformance with what you have stated in the documentation, then it could be ideally coming as a non-conformance. That means you are not doing the way you are supposed to do, or the way you are doing that is not recorded. So both should match. Otherwise, ideally, it could be a non-conformance. So there is a violation of a rule or a requirement. What is the difference now between a non-conformity and other forms of audit findings? The output of an audit is the finding, as I said. Audit findings could include non-conformities, opportunities for improvements, and strength. In summary, a non-conformity is one form of audit findings. Within the organization that you are conducting the internal or an audit, any audit, you are going to have to make yourself aware of what your audit finding categories are. You need at least one category of conformance and at least one category of non-conformance. Most organizations have other categories as well, as I said, such as opportunities for improvement. It is not exactly a non-conformance, just a suggestion that the team might want to consider, but ultimately they could take or leave that opportunity for improvement. Another is observations. This is a finding category where you are just noting that you have observed something on the day of the audit. If not taken care of, might lead to a non-conformance letter. The two critical elements that must be found in any non-conformance or conformance statement is giving reference to the requirement and providing the evidence that demonstrates that conformance or non-conformance against that requirement. You can't call something a non-conformance unless it is specifically required somewhere in that procedure or in the audit criteria. So you have to be very careful before reporting a non-conformance. Before we dig into that too much, a couple of tips for all of you. Be complete in your reporting and be concise and be specific with both the requirement and the evidence as expected from the ISO standards. The audit report generally includes the following steps. Number one, it must include the scope and the objectives. It also must include the results of the audit. It also must include the recommendations and the action plans. Also, you must include what are the conclusions of the audit. Your opinion you should actually state, as an auditor or a lead auditor, what are your expressions? What are your impressions about the audit? Definitely, you can put your opinion. Even at times, auditees' opinions could also be done. They will say how this audit has helped them. Acknowledgement of satisfactory performance encouraged. You can highlight the strength of the audit. If something is very good, some good practices are done in the process, project, or department, that is always good to encourage people. The contents of the detailed report are as follows: background or overview of the audit area reviewed, scope approach, audit period, finding summary, and detailed observations. Some of the best practices for a good audit reports are: reference everything with respect to the standard. Include a reference section in your report. Use figures, visuals, and text stylization. Note key statistics about the entity audited if possible. Make a finding sandwich. Ensure every issue includes the 5 C's of the observation. Include detailed observations. Always perform a quality assurance check. Avoid blame, state the facts, because I have told you people earlier, audit procedure is a fact-finding exercise, not a fault-finding exercise. And finally, be as direct as possible. We are now going to talk about something which is called Corrective Action Report, or CAR, in audits. A corrective action report is a procedure used to respond to a defect and originate a corrective action. It means that you are documenting a non-conformance and taking action to prevent the problem from recurrence or occurring again. Usually, when a defect is discovered, a project manager or contractor will issue a CAR to the responsible party, but CARs can also be asked for by a client or a customer. The main objective of CAR is to investigate a problem that occurred using root cause analysis and reach a resolution to prevent the defect from reoccurring. What are the benefits of corrective action reports? The main goal of CAR development is keeping mistakes from occurring time and time again. Repeated mistakes can have disastrous effects on an organization, including low employee morale, poor working conditions, and unhappy customers who have potentially unsafe products. CARs provide written documentation of an issue occurring and, if needed, disciplinary records for future reference. When an organization reduces mistakes and defects through CAR development, overall quality increases and long-term business health improves. We will now discuss why are corrective action reports important to understand. A corrective action reports are extremely important documents as they serve as formal mediations between parties and protect against unfair claims. CARs can be leveraged in discussions where parties need to come to an agreement and take necessary corrective action without litigation. Next, cards are necessary for companies that deal with corrective actions regularly. Organizations should maintain a standard template for every card, ensuring that all information is captured and recorded. The last important, cards allow multiple parties to work together and uncover the root cause of the problems collaboratively instead of simply focusing on rectifying the defect as quickly as possible. When root cause analysis is conducted, the chances of a defect occurring again become lower. ISO 9001-2015 requires organizations to review the effectiveness of any corrective actions taken and, if necessary, update risks and opportunities determined during planning. Reviewing the effectiveness of corrective actions has taken shape in many organizations as an added field to their existing corrective action. ISO 9001-2015 standard has replaced the term preventive action with risks and opportunities. The motivation behind this is to make the 9001 standard consistent with other ISO standards. The basic concept between preventive action and risk management is the same: assess the risk and mitigate it based on severity. The only difference is that the terminology has changed. Based on the origin of the card, there can be different types of requests. The responsibility for the action might lie with different parties. Let us consider supplier S supplies materials and services to enterprise E, who in turn sells products to customer C. You can enter request types using the solution template collection plans. The solution includes seeded values for request types. Accordingly, the corrective action request or cards can be categorized into the following types: internal card requiring supplier action, customer initiated card, internal card that eventually requires supplier action, and customer initiated card that requires supplier action. We will now talk about the concept of opportunities for improvement. What are opportunities for improvement? Opportunities for improvement means a situation or condition where actions can be taken by a project to enhance its performance in the delivery of products or services, or to eliminate the causes of a potential non-conformity or other undesirable situation in order to prevent its occurrence. There are usually 5 methods for identifying opportunity. Number 1, meet your business goals. Your business strategy must be closely aligned. Number 2, involve the right people and tools. Number 3, consider how often the process is used. Number 4, identify physical bottlenecks, if any. And number 5, determine how long current practices have been in place. An opportunity for improvement, or OFI as shortly it's being called, is a pretty neat idea. It allows your auditor to assure or share with you valuable ideas that may be helpful as your organization pushes its quality management system for continual improvement. In fact, a well thought out opportunity for improvement in many cases may be of more value than a well implemented non-conformance. An opportunity for improvement or observation is presented as informational with no response required. This observation cannot be directly referenced to the non-fulfillment of a recall. Requirement here means audit recall. An opportunity for improvement is simply an opportunity to improve your business system. It is not necessarily an item that will lead to a future non-conformance if not addressed. With this, I come to a close of module 4 of our session. Thank you very much. More learning in our next module. Thank you very much. Bye. Hello everyone and welcome to module 5 of our e-learning session, ISO 9001-2015 and lead audit. In module 5, we will be understanding integration of ISO 9001, Lean Initiative, Total Quality Management, and Six Sigma. Integrating ISO 9001, Lean, Total Quality Management, and Six Sigma. To understand this, let us first understand what exactly is the Six Sigma approach. Six Sigma approach aims to peerless supreme quality control and quality assurance methodologies by continuously improving the process, focusing towards prevention or reduction or removal of defects, problems, and also reduction of variation. Moreover, another problem-solving approach that relies on statistical approach, leading to huge profit margins along with maximum employee engagement. Hence, ISO 9001 and Six Sigma acts like a backbone for any organization. ISO 9001 is a systematic quality management technique, which we have already learned by this time, that works on 8 guiding principles. Here, customer focus approach, leadership commitment, people engagement, efficient process approach, systematic management approach, continuous improvement, evidence-based factual decision-making, and healthy supplier relations. In learning the concepts of integration between ISO 9001, Lean, TQM, that is Total Quality Management, and Six Sigma, let us now try to understand what exactly is the concept of lean manufacturing. Lean manufacturing tends to achieve zero waste generation motif by making use of its core tools and systematic techniques like Kaizen, visual workplace control, etc. Statistical data analysis and hypothesis tests are not being made up in lean manufacturing as their core tool. Now let us understand a brief insight about total quality management. Total quality management refers to the production manufacturing with zero defects, meeting all the defined process parameters, and precise premium quality guaranteed every time the product has been manufactured. Let us try to connect ISO 9001 and Six Sigma together. ISO 9001 is a quality improvement strategy whose entire focus is to ensure that the products have been manufactured on the set standard as defined by ISO 9001 clause. This we have discussed many times in our sessions. ISO 9001 also emphasizes on quality improvement, but it has a much wider scope than 9001. ISO 9001 cannot be used as a statistical approach to solve a problematic defect. ISO 9001 helps in identification of the problem and not in identifying the solution or fixing the actual root cause. In its comparison, one step ahead in terms of quality improvement, Six Sigma not only identifies the actual root cause but also provides appropriate solutions for it. So this is the major difference between ISO and Six Sigma, because Six Sigma not only uses statistical tools and techniques to improve the process and sustain it, at the same time it uses many quality tools and techniques, and at the same time many management tools and techniques. Consider helping hand when it comes to ISO 9001 certification or ISO 9001 implementation steps. So Six Sigma is very helpful towards this. How this helps to achieve objectives set by ISO 9001. Here are some really helpful ways through which Six Sigma can assist achieving ISO 9001 objectives. Number 1, reduction in defects. Number 2, rock solid verification of the process. Number 3, problem indication. And 4, continuous improvement. While we talk about improvement and implementation of ISO and Six Sigma, I will explain the relationship with one small example. Let's consider during this COVID scenario, there is an 85-year-old person who has been admitted with high positive COVID infection in an hospital. He has been in the ICU for almost 1 month, and now he's definitely reviving very much, and now he has been shifted to the normal COVID world. Now in the COVID world also, he is also reviving and recovering very well, and now after 15 days in his normal bed, the doctors now feel that maybe within another 2 or 3 days, he could be released to go home. So now, a person who has been almost for 1 month in a hospital, 15 days in an ICU, 15 days in a general bed, so automatically the doctors will always try to make that person a bit in a walkable condition, especially the person is so old, around 85 years old. So what they said, that okay, let us go and talk to this gentleman. So they went and talked to the gentleman. Yes, sir, how are you doing? He said, sir, I'm doing very good now and I'm ready to go home. Very good, sir. Sir, could you please get up slowly on the bed? He got up slowly on the bed. Okay, sir, could you please drag your feet forward? He dragged his feet forward. Sir, could you now put your feet on the ground? He put his feet on the ground. Sir, could you please now gradually put on your slippers? He put on his slippers. Sir, gradually now slowly can you try to get up? We will want that you walk in the corridor slowly for 2 days, and on the third day, while you are in more or less an workable condition, we will release. Wonderful. So the person gradually got up as directed by the doctor. He put on the slippers and gradually, slowly, he started working on the corridor. Okay. So now, while he was walking on the corridor slowly, the doctor certainly realized that if we give this gentleman a worker that would help him to walk in a better position. Now, the directions that the doctor gave to this gentleman, starting from getting up on the bed, then coming down, put on the slippers, slowly getting up, slowly start working. These are the directives which basically talks about the process of making him work. This is what ISO lays down. ISO lays down a process and governs a process. But the worker which was given to this person, in addition to the directives, is a tool which is helping him to perform far more better than the normal way of working. This tool is being provided by Six. So that is the relation between ISO 9001 and Six Sigma. Thus, in addition to defining, directing, and governing a process, Six Sigma, with the help of tools, helps you to enhance and make the process further better. Wearing the concept of total quality management and Six Sigma. Total quality management has limited scope as compared to Six Sigma. The implementation of total quality management is in some particular areas, especially production and quality departments, which comes under technical departments. Whereas Six Sigma methodologies like a DMAC methodology is applicable to any type of problems existing in any department, whether the department is technical or non-technical. Total quality management does not deal with the execution of any process, whereas Six Sigma keeps process execution steps in spotlight anytime. Six Sigma and TQM coming together, joining hands. Six Sigma is of great help when it comes to achieve total quality management objectives, like customer satisfactions. These are some of the common goals which are common between Six Sigma and total quality management. Customer satisfaction, evidence-based or data-based decision making, process variables, continuous improvement, and ensuring boost in employee morale. If we try to compare between Six Sigma and total quality management, how it goes. Both Six Sigma and total quality management are effective tools, as we understand, for quality management. But a thin line of difference does exist between them. Although the methodologies and procedures involved in both the two appear quite similar, but there are certain major differences. Number one, Six Sigma is a relatively newer concept than total quality management, but not exactly its replacement. The basic difference between total quality management and Six Sigma is that total quality management delivers superior quality manufactured goods, whereas Six Sigma, on the other hand, results in better results. Total quality management refers to continuous effort by employees to ensure high quality products, The process of Six Sigma incorporates many small changes in the systems to ensure effective results and better customer satisfaction. Total quality management involves designing and developing new systems and processes and ensures effective coordination among various departments. New processes are developed based on various customer feedbacks and researches. The second line of difference we can talk about is the main focus of total quality management is to maintain existing quality standards, whereas Six Sigma primarily focuses on making small necessary changes in the process and systems to ensure high quality. The process of total quality management does reach to a saturation level after a certain period of time. After reaching the saturation stage, no further improvements in quality can be made. Six Sigma, on the other hand, seldom reaches the saturation state by initiating a next level of quality process. The process of total quality management involves improvement in existing policies and procedures to ensure high quality. The third line of difference. Six Sigma focuses on improving quality by minimizing and eventually eliminating defects from the system. The process of total quality management ensures that every single member associated with the organization is working towards the improvement of existing process, systems, services, and work culture for long-term quality products and services. Six Sigma, on the other hand, focuses on first identifying and eventually removing various defects and obstacles which might come in the way of organization success. In a layman's language, if I want to say, total quality management emphasizes on improving the existing policies and making necessary changes in the systems to ensure superior quality products and services. Organizations practicing Six Sigma are focused on removing errors, defects, and variations to ensure high quality products. The fourth line of difference. Total quality management is a less complicated process than Six Sigma involves specially trained individuals, whereas total quality management does not require extensive training. The process of Six Sigma creates special labels for employees who are only eligible to implement the same. Employees trained for Six Sigma are often certified or mostly certified as green belts or black belts, depending on their level of proficiency. Six Sigma requires participation of only certified professionals, whereas total quality management can be referred to a part-time activity which does not require any special training. Only the quality awareness should be there. Six Sigma can be implemented by dedicated and well-trained professionals. The sixth line of comparison, Six Sigma is known to deliver better and effective results as compared to total quality management. The process of Six Sigma is based on customer feedbacks and is more accurate and result oriented. Customer feedbacks play an important role in Six Sigma. Experts predict that Six Sigma will outshine total quality management in due course of time. Total quality management is a management approach to a long-term success through customer satisfaction. TQM or total quality management initially came out of manufacturing, but its popularity saw it move into clearly or nearly all sectors. Total quality management was focused on improving processes to enhance customer satisfaction, often following the cycle of PDCA, that is Plan, Do, Check, Act, as devised by Sir Edward Deming. TQM was often managed by individuals rather than being implemented across entire organizations. The principles of TQM, we can group it under two. We can see that many of them are similar to those behind a quality management system also, with a few differences. Focus on customers and involvement of people. While we keep on understanding comparing and integration of ISO 9001 and total quality management, the principles of total quality management we are already discussing. We have already discussed two principles which are quite similar with the QMS, that is focus on customers, involvement of people. The next one, adopt a process-driven approach, integrate organization systems, adopt a strategic and systematic approach, adopt a factual approach to decision making, ensure communication with stakeholders, and commit to continual improvement. Companies or organizations all over the world are always on the lookout for proper management tools to help them cope with many different tasks that need to be taken into consideration when looking after their employees, assets, profits, and goals in general. There are many different tools available nowadays that can help us achieve these goals, and some of them include ISO 9001 and total quality management. When we talk about comparing and integrating ISO 9001 and total quality management, we have to first understand the concept of technical definitions. ISO 9001 is basically, as we know by this time, is basically a management system that has been created to monitor the functions and data of a specific organization, and that works on a monitoring basis to help understand the proper balance that is required towards the process. Total quality management is also a management system, simply known as total quality management. However, this system works on the basis that the employee participates in the program on a regular basis and ensures that the tools and technologies are properly managed within the departments. How total quality management and ISO 9001 differ in terms of output? ISO 9001 describes the functions and the actions that you need to be able to have the minimum standard of quality systems in place. ISO 9001 can be considered as a tool to implement total quality management and also has some basic requirements like strict documentation for audit purposes. You can easily monitor your records with this kind of management program. Whereas total quality management or TQM focuses on finding the best and maximum results and how to get to them. It can be considered to be a management program based on quality. TQM ideally does not require any kind of documentation. We will now try to understand the integration of lean manufacturing with Six Sigma. Lean manufacturing implements a step-by-step approach to eliminate waste that are being produced while manufacturing product that we have already understood. By eliminating waste, one can avail numerous benefits like lower production cost, reduction in cycle time, and increased yield, while Six Sigma focuses on problem resolution caused due to unknown reasons. What is the golden shake hand between lean manufacturing and Six Sigma program? Both these initiatives and their success, proven scientific methodologies, comes hand in hand to provide benefits to manufacture industry or ideally to manufacturing industries by various means. Since lean manufacturing stresses upon zero waste and Six Sigma emphasizes on least variability in the process, so that the final product can be made of precise quality and each and every customer of the product feels satisfied and trusts the ordered, paid product. Continuing with the golden shake hand discussion between lean manufacturing and Six Sigma, I will discuss about a few areas where it shows how Six Sigma aims in achieving objectives of lean manufacturing. So, number one, reduction in defects. As soon as the quantity of waste produced is reduced, the amount of good production will ultimately increase in asset intensity of the machines. Two, reduction in production cycle time. Since the quantity of waste production will be eliminated by implementing lean methods in manufacturing process and will result in flawless quality product, that is the ultimate target. Connecting ISO 9001 and lean process. Many times we discuss about integration of lean tools and requirements of ISO 9001-2015 standard as an operationalization and support tool for a quality management system, that is QMS. There was a research carried out through a questionnaire which was sent to 2040 Portuguese companies. From the 200 responses, 77 of them were validated, that is, companies certified by at least one quality management system and which simultaneously have Lean Six Sigma tools and or techniques implemented from those companies, corresponding to the sample of this study. So 77 organizations came validated corresponding to some sample of the study. Additionally, the research was also based on a case study in a footwear company where the model was applied. This research proposes a model for integrating lean tools and requirements for ISO 9001-2015 This integration allows the QMS to become more practical and dynamic, reinforcing the creation of value for the organization. As the main benefit, we can highlight probably, among others, improvement of problem solving, waste reduction, improvement in internal communication, and increase in productivity. That is the relation between lean process and ISO 9001. ISO 9001 and lean makes relevant contribution to business management as it displays the main tools and methodologies to implement and sustain a quality management system. With this, I come to a close of Module 5. Thank you very much. More learning we will have in our next module. Thank you very much. Hello everyone and welcome all of you on the Module 6 of the e-learning session ISO 9001-2015 and Lead Auditor. In this module, in Module 6, we are going to discuss about internal quality audit specifically. An internal audit is performed by someone within the company or the organization. However, the internal auditor should be associated with a different department than that which is being actually audited. The idea of an internal audit can be intimidating to some employees, so it is best to present these audits in a positive light as a tool that will lead to improvement. Internal audits can lead to a variety of benefits for your company if you utilize the results in an effective way. I will now discuss some of the reasons that internal audits are important to any business. Identification of areas in need of improvement. As an internal audit evaluates the effectiveness of a quality management system, it is easy for a company to identify areas that need improvement from the results. This makes an internal audit an important tool in which the company can increase their functionality. Second area, employee growth. As an internal audit is conducted by an employee within the company, but from a different department, the process can be an important learning tool. The auditor can learn about a different aspect of the company and become better able to see the parts that make the whole of the company function. This can be very empowering for the different departments and could also lead to growth within the company for them career-wise. The next area, internal feedback. Part of the process of an audit is gathering input from employees. These observations can be quite insightful for organizations. The next area, audit report. The actual internal audit report that you receive at the end of the audit is an important tool to grow your organization towards the process perspective, of course. It will provide a summary of the investigation and offer key observations in which your company can improve from. Preparation of external audits, rather preparations for external audits. A great benefit of performing an internal audit is that your company can be prepared should an external audit occur in very close future. Performing an internal audit first allows you to gain knowledge of what areas you need to improve upon so that you can be well prepared to face the external audits. Should the external auditors come up with some of same observations, you can be prepared to express your ideas on how you are addressing any issues. Performing an audit, especially an internal audit, is a great opportunity for a company to learn and grow. Internal audits are important to any business because they can evaluate your processes and ensure that you are meeting quality standards and conformance. This is what we discussed till now is about the background of an internal audit. Now we are going to talk about internal quality audit life cycle. Each IQA, in short, internal quality audits, we call it in short IQA. Each IQA ideally goes through the following stages: planning of the audit, execution of the audit, reporting the audit, and follow up on the audit. IQA planning. Lead auditor ideally prepares the IQA plan. An IQA coordinator in the organization releases the IQA plan. If there are no IQA coordinator in your organization, even the lead auditor could release, or if a senior auditor within the organization can also release the IQA plan. The audit team studies the relevant documentations like the project plan, contract document, etc., so that they become used to on or understand in what context and what perspective they will be doing a particular audit. IQA execution. 1. The audit team conducts open meeting, audit objectives and scope, review documents and records, ideally with an audit checklist. There are few areas that is covered under the IQA execution. Number 1, interviewing selected auditees, highlight good practices or the strength, identifying non-conformance and improvement for opportunities, gets agreement on non-conformance from the auditee and the corrections and corrective or preventive actions which has been agreed to be taken by the auditee, obtains employee feedback, how the audit has been done, how they are happy with the audit, how much they are happy with the audit, and finally conducts closing meeting to share the audit findings and close the issues if any. IQA execution 2. Audit team also assesses the overall health of the contract with respect to client satisfaction, how good or how satisfied are the customers. If there are any issues on that, they can highlight those. Contract objectives, whether as the project or the department is really working as per the contract objectives, the budgets, whether those are under control, the schedule, if there is any schedule variance or everything is done within proper schedule, the risks, if there are any risks related to that, how the risks are getting managed and closed before an action is taken. And what about the employee satisfaction? IQA reporting. The lead auditor ideally prepares the formal IQA report for an organization based on the IQA audit findings, the non-conformances, with or without the employee feedback. Ideally, I will expect always we try to have the auditee or the employee feedback. IQA coordinator, IQA coordinator reviews and releases ultimately the IQA report. IQA follow-up. What are the responsibilities for the IQA follow-up from the auditee? He or she makes all the changes and the corrections, takes all the corrective and preventive actions, and informs the lead auditor or the auditor to come and check the status of the actions and close the non-conforming. And for the lead auditor or the IQA, verifies implementations of the actions taken and ultimately closes the non-conformance. So with that, we come to a close of this module, which talks about the IQA or the internal quality audit procedure. More so, more learning we will have in our further sessions. Thank you very much.